Please welcome to the stage Nima, Ulysses, and Wayne Sutton.
Okay, all right, get that backwards. Okay, cool. Cool. All right, you're doing this. Good morning, again.
Good morning.
Hey, all right, let's get started. Nima, Ulysses. Ulysses.
That's not even close.
I tried, but we talked, what, maybe 20 times? I will probably be my first time saying this, not an excuse, but first time saying this on stage. I struggle with dyslexia a little bit, so I try. All right, Blend. All right, we had a phone call. We're going to be honest. Let's talk about it. Why are you here? First, introduce yourselves, and then, like, why are you here?
Oh, come on. He's determined to be the looks. That's what he said backstage. My name is Ulysses Smith. I'm the Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging Leader at Blend. I've been there for a whole 6 months at this point in time, and what a journey already, in the best way.
Yeah.
In the best way.
I'm Nima. I'm one of the founders, CEO of Blend. We started Blend about 7.5 years ago to make financial service, specifically getting a mortgage, easier and simpler for consumers, especially for, not really for, I don't think, we didn't build it for people kind of in Silicon Valley. We built it for people. I grew up in Cincinnati, Ohio. I was an immigrant. And the mortgage industry is one that, I don't know if a lot of you have mortgages, but the government has all these programs in place to help people with low to moderate income get mortgages, and those things can often lead to, eventually become long-term assets. And so when I was very young, my parents bought a home with $3,000 down, a $100,000 home in Cincinnati, and that's become like the cornerstone asset to their retirement. And so, we make the technology that powers that. We probably touch 1 in 5 home buyers in America now through our software, and we work almost entirely in partnership with banks and credit unions across the country who are trying to offer these products to their customers.
Awesome. So you share a little bit about your background, Nima, but can you dive a little bit more into that in terms of like, okay, we tell entrepreneurs you find a problem and you want to solve it, and this is a personal problem for you, right? So like, can you jump in a little bit more about your background, like why was this important for you to start this company, especially after some of your previous companies that you were early on at?
Yeah, so I was an early engineer at Palantir 10, 11 years ago when I graduated from college, and actually it was right around the financial crisis when I did that, and so I saw we were working with a lot of financial institutions at the time, post-financial crisis, and there were millions of people who were having their homes taken away from them, were losing a lot of value that they had created over tens of years, basically overnight during the financial crisis. And then you go and you're working with these financial institutions, and it's just like reams and reams of paper. And it's like, well, of course you didn't know what was going on with it. It wasn't that only about 5% of the loans were bad loans, but even 5% of bad loans could bring down the entire system. And so of course they didn't know what was going on because there was no technology. It was all done on paper. And it's really hard to read through millions of pieces of paper and understand what's in it. And so that was one of the things that inspired me post-crisis. And then the thing that keeps me going on a day-to-day basis is like there's like so many. We touch millions of consumers a year now with our product, and I think about that story that my parents told. My parents did like a little interview with me on this a while back, and just hearing that story, I hadn't heard that story until they told me that, until they did that interview with us, and it was just like it's so impactful in our life. It's so impactful in so many people's lives, being able to build an asset over time for a very small amount of money up front. And I think that's something that keeps me going when, building a startup's really hard.
Yeah.
It's like, there's a lot of things that go wrong every day. There's something new coming at you, whether it's, something you broke on accident, or some competitor, or it's some customer doesn't sign with you, or whatever it is. And it's just, those things are frustrating and difficult, but having something that you can feel like you're creating a positive impact in even a small way, I think keeps me going.
Yeah, it's awesome. So Ulysses, your title is Diversity, Inclusion, Belonging, and you have a completely different background. Can you talk about a little bit about that and what led you to Blend?
Oh, gosh. I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida. Everybody's like, oh, what part of Florida? Not Miami.
So, not the good part.
Okay, well, have a seat. Remember, just the looks.
Yeah.
I ended up moving to New York to go to college. And my goal was to go far, far away. It didn't matter where I went. I applied to, I think, 13 schools, and I literally had no idea Cornell existed until 2 weeks before the deadline. And the only reason I ever applied to any Ivy League institution was just because I didn't want to go through life regretting that I never tried. But guidance counselors was like, you need to go and stay in Florida. But either way, I ended up going there, and I was determined to study architecture. And so I was doing architecture for a minute and quickly learned that I didn't like it / I was not good at it at all. So I jumped out of that pretty quickly and ended up transitioning to more city planning work, doing a lot of government work. Worked on Capitol Hill for a hot second, learned how much I hated the legislature, and ran back to higher education. And so I spent the first few years of my career teaching in the business school and also leading Cornell University's global D&I strategy for a few years, which really, I think, shaped kind of how I view this practice in general. I spent a lot of my time focusing on how, if you've ever dealt with kind of bureaucracy in the city, right, on a municipal level, there's always these arguments between architects and city planners, right? Whereas whose responsibility is it, or who has the power to determine whether or not you put a building in a community? Who gets to determine how that building is actually used? And so my focus was how do I create access to the venues where these decisions are even being made, right, for some groups? Because we know by default there are so many groups across the country who never have access to those spaces to make decisions. And so when we look at participatory governance models and structures, that's really what I was focused on. So I approach this practice very, very differently than probably a lot of other folks do, because I see what the impact is just when we look in terms of equity and access overall. So.
Awesome. Great background.
So weird background. Yeah.
Well, it's good because a lot of people think you have to have a certain narrative to gain your tag or so forth. So it's good to have that perspective. Connected to that, so Blend, 7 years, you say? All right. We've been doing tech inclusion for 5. Company's doing great. You just hired Ulysses 6 months ago, right? So why now? What took so long? What was the trigger? And it was like, hey, we need to have someone now. And then why Ulysses? And
So
why you joined?
I think one of the things that's hard to, there's so much. Honestly, it's not a good excuse. There's just so much that's weighing us down every day on a day-to-day basis, like in the grind, that we sometimes forget to step back and say we're trying to build a 50-year business. And to build a 50-year business, we have to make sure that we are a diverse, inclusive, and belonging place for people who can come and have a great experience at Blend, no matter what their background is. And so, I think it's hard, and it's been shown, time and time again that that's so important for the longevity of companies. But it's not something that's natural to think about until you take a step back. And so we did. We took a step back a while ago, and we decided we needed to have this for our long-term health of the company. What I really liked about Ulysses is...
Remember what we practiced. Don't forget the gorgeous part.
I love this energy. They're cool energy, right?
Make sure this is being
I
filmed.
don't love his humor, but I think what I really liked about Ulysses was I think one of the things that I didn't think about when we were hiring this role, and I like when candidates tell me something that I'm not thinking about or I don't know, and when they're interviewing for roles, and I was thinking very much about how do I make Blend a place that's diverse, it's inclusive, and that promotes belonging. But what I wasn't thinking about was how do we use the fact that we have this megaphone, which is our product that touches millions of consumers, and make that a promoter of diversity, inclusion, and belonging in our product, like with end consumers who are using our product through these many financial institutions who are our partners, and that's something that's pretty unique. We have this megaphone where anything that we do now can scale across so many people, across so many, and one of the things that we think about now a lot at Blend is how do we build a product that can create more accessibility and credit, more accessibility for people with disabilities, more accessibility with people with low to moderate income. Like there's just a lot of things that we can do by using, whether it's data or the way we design our products, the way we make our products available on any device, regardless of, you don't have to go walk into a branch and talk to a human if you've never been to a bank before. Like there's ways to make this system better, I think, broadly, and we get to have that megaphone. And so I'm very thankful for that. And something that Ulysses said in his interview with us 6 or 7 or 8 months ago, and it's really stuck with me. And it's something that I think it's become a bigger part of our strategy going forward as a result.
Awesome. So why you joined Blend?
Not for Nima, no. No, totally kidding. No, he's spot on. I think my goal has always been, especially walking into Blend, was there's an opportunity to build a D&I practice that doesn't look like anywhere else in tech. Right? Tech has a bad habit overall of being very insular and not wanting to look outside of the industry, right, to see what success actually looks like. When we look at, consulting, finance, higher education, or different industries that have had this practice for a long time, right? Definitely born out of compliance obligations, right? But there's been a transition, so we've been able to see what success looks like. There are 300 studies over I don't know how many decades now that tell you stop doing all these things, and tech continues to keep doing all these things, right? And so with this opportunity, we have a huge platform not only to do the work with the workforce and invest in our employees' personal, professional, social development, but we also get the opportunity to leverage difference for the development of our product, right? And I think there's so much more of an opportunity with this product to provide the possibility, right, for a lot of people who have never ever thought it was possible to obtain transferable wealth in some form, right? Property in this country, being able to own property in this country is a huge deal, right? And being able to pass something on to somebody, right, to make sure your family is safe and sustained over a long period of time, that's a huge impact that I don't think a lot of folks have thought about. And so we have an opportunity here to really build this function and think about it strategically in a very different way than other folks have right now. And so I think having leadership that's bought into that vision, that is on board with sometimes a little wonky, crazy ideas that might come from this head, then I think I can't ask for any better investment than that. So,
awesome.
Yeah.
Let's give a round of applause. Yeah, somebody was clapping. I heard that. It's good. I love what you say about not doing the same thing, over again, because people forget that when we plan these events for 5 years, that we're going to form with one tech company. We may talk to hundreds of tech companies, so we kind of get an insight of what's happening at each company, and be like, okay, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it wrong, you're getting it right. Okay, all right, don't go there, but this is, and we talked a year ago also. Yes. So this sounds great. Sounds great. So, with the impact you want to make with your product in the company, I hear it, I feel it, which is awesome. Like, I'm excited. I need to go check out Blend. I'm not looking to buy a home mortgage, but still, I can go check it out.
We have roles.
What's that?
We have roles. Come on.
No. I am an entrepreneur at heart. Thank you, though. The impact you want to make, I hear it. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, how would you like to see yourselves and Blend changing the world or changing lives?
Yeah, I think the way we've articulated our vision, right, for our DIB strategy in totality has been, we've based it on kind of 3 beliefs that we have, aspirational beliefs to say, well, if we are a 50-year company or in 100 years, like, and this was successful, right, what would we look like? What would this look like? And so I think we've established that we want to be the equitable employer of choice of the future. Right? So we have the opportunity to still remain competitive in the talent market, but also to make sure that we have a growth strategy that is that actively removes arbitrary barriers to participation in the workforce for so many groups. We also have a huge belief in community investment and social impact. We don't want to be the tech company whose only impact in the Bay is to come in and displace other people, but rather we'd actually want to be the organization that actively invests in the communities where we are present, right, in order to provide that same socioeconomic boost to where we are. And then, of course, we want to look at our overall kind of employee experience and the impact that our product actually has. And so when we look at becoming an equitable and accessible consumer finance ecosystem, I think, again, speaking to the value of the product that Blend has, I think that would be success for us overall. And granted, we do invest pretty specifically this year, at least, and for our strategy in kind of 3 other areas, particularly our talent, the employee experience, and then again, social impact. And we have a long list of OKRs tied to all those goals. I'm only slightly nervous about some of them. Right now, 13. But I think overall, there's so much opportunity that it's so hard it's hard to back away from that. And I think every day I walk in and I get really excited, even on the days that are incredibly frustrating when you really want to do something very quickly. But it's always so exciting to just think about the possibility and the prospect of really changing the entire practice overall. So.
Awesome.
Yeah, and I think, look, one thing that I've thought about is, to your point earlier, Ulysses and Wayne, about not doing things the way things have always been done. Maybe those were the way things made sense 2 years ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. But the thing that I'm trying to work on in our organization is just like, how do we always stay always adapt and understand what our circumstances and our environment is and stay on top? And because things are meant to change in a world like ours, and the world is changing faster than ever. Both, the world where our product serves, financial services, the housing market is changing really, really quickly right now. And so us making sure that changes in ways that can impact communities across the country, I think is very, very important. And so we're the ones helping drive a lot of that change. And then internally, us being open-minded to whether it's new ideas or just new circumstances, because things will change, and being able to be agile and shift is like, that's how we'll last 50 years and make a lasting change over 50 years. And it won't be figuring something out now and having that same thing be true 50 years from now. I know that for certain. And so, I don't know, I look at all the things that are ahead of us, and I'm just like Ulysses, I'm sort of in some ways overwhelmed, but in some ways very excited about just how much we have the opportunity. We're so fortunate to have the opportunity to even get to work on these things, and it's just like, that's the thing that gets me really excited every day.
Awesome. So we'll change the script a little bit, talking about friction. We didn't prep for this, but I feel like it's needed. In terms of friction, how do you deal with, like I know Blend is not a utopia. I know there's no perfect tech company. And like I said, we talked to hundreds of companies. There's so much friction that happens when you try to create change, especially doing diversity, inclusion, belonging work at this stage of an organization that already has its existing culture. So how do both of you deal with the friction of everyone not being on the same page? Because if you all tell me that everyone's on the same page with the movement you all are doing,
It'd be the end of the chat.
I'm going to walk out.
Right.
Like, you all just go. But so how do you do it with the friction? Because I know everyone's not on the same page.
I mean, look, I think, when we first started talking about some of these initiatives, I remember somebody came up to me and said, Nima, why are we doing these? Like, why now?
That's the real conversation.
Yeah,
right,
why are we doing these? Why now? And the thing that I get back to always is, what's the best thing for us and our community over the next 50 years? And like, these things take a long time. One thing that I talked to Ulysses about is, I know these things take a long time. Like, we have ambitious goals, ambitious aspirations, but all these things take a long time, and they come coming to work every day, and it's a grind. Like, getting the things that we want to do, creating a diverse, inclusive, and belonging workplace is like a very difficult task that takes a long time. And the thing I tell people is, like, if it takes a long time and we want to be around and we want to do this for 50 years, we have to start now. There's not a perfect moment to start.
Can I pause for a minute? Like, I get this. I hope most of you all get this. You get this. I know you get this. I'm confused. Why doesn't the whole tech industry get this? If you want to be around 50 years, if you just look at the data of the world, this is what you need to do. So I just need to pause by that. So good job. All right, cool.
No, I think for me, it's getting them aligned on where we are in 50 years, and less about what do we need to do this. I think sometimes, and I don't blame them, whether it's pressure from their manager or pressure from their investors or whatever it is, like, I need to hit my numbers this year. And that's important, of course. Like, making sure that you have a business that can sustain and has enough like cash to keep paying people is important too. And so I don't want to downplay that. But not at the expense of where we need to go over the next few decades. And so, like, that's where I think about. That's where I get people aligned. And it was somebody very senior who'd been a very early employee in the company. He's like, why? He said, why now? And that was what I aligned with him around, and I think ultimately brought him around to it. But there is a lot of friction regardless, and that's just one example. But there's a lot of friction because then you got to try to go and change, put change. I know you were working with all of our recruiters, you're working with our product team, and I know that stuff it's like it's a new language for them in a lot of ways.
It is. It definitely is. And honestly, like, listen, I think in this role, you always have to expect a lot of resistance oftentimes and discomfort and conflict, right? And I don't think discomfort and conflict are inherently bad, right? I think that's actually where the most learning occurs. And I think that's healthy for us to be able to have these dialogues and sometimes very uncomfortable conversations in order to get the change that we want to see. But some days it is challenging to get everybody. I think one of the struggles in this practice in general is getting people to see this role and this practice as something beyond recruiting. And what we've done very well at Blend is to not relegate this to a small program in HR, right? But to a strategic role that actually is focused and that works very closely with each function area to do things that make an impact. And so part of the change management process here is just helping people understand what customer diversity initiatives look like in sales and what that means for revenue stability, right? And how to tell the various stories stories of our customer bases through marketing and et cetera, and inclusive product design processes. So all those things happen, but it takes time. It absolutely takes time. And so, I'm happy we're starting now. I'm happy to have Nima here. We're very different people, but I think, I'm fashionable, he's not, but but somehow it works, and I'm grateful to be at Blend.
That's the. I'm gonna get you now. I'm gonna get you now because you're from the East Coast. I'm from the East Coast too.
Yeah.
I'm from North Carolina. I don't claim it now, but it's from North Carolina. And you're from Florida. Where are you from?
Born in Iran.
Born in Iran.
Cincinnati, Ohio.
Cincinnati, but you went to Stanford Tech. So you have the uniform, right? Every day I'm gonna keep it simple, right? I get you're like, hey, I'm from Miami. I'm from Florida, but I went to New York. And some of that New York is still in you.
A little bit. We don't talk about it though.
But it's all good, all good. But I hope you all see, like after talking to Ulysses and learning about Blend, like why we want to have this conversation on the stage. And I see the please stop sign. I was looking at this sign. All right, maybe. Okay, got it. Walking steps through my head. What's next? So like, why we want to have this conversation on stage is because they're doing a lot right, and it may not have been done right years ago, but doing some things right because they're around, but they're doing things right now, and they have a great approach to diversity, inclusion, and belonging. One last question, fire question. What do you do for fun and self-care?
Gamer, big gamer. G-A-Y-M-E-R, that is. So.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
All right, got it.
I play a lot of video games.
All right, cool. Awesome.
Hang out with my family too.
All right, video games.
Yeah.
Self-care is important. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Ulysses, Nima, thank you all. Thank you all.
Thank you.